In this video, we will compare fractions, mixed numbers, and decimals. Like fractions are fractions that have the same denominator. When fractions are not like fractions, they can be changed into equivalent fractions that have like denominators. We call these denominators common denominators. The least common denominator, or LCD, of two or more fractions is the least common multiple, or LCM, of their denominators. The LCD can often be found by inspection. Examine each denominator and intuitively determine the LCD. For fractions with larger denominators, you may need to use the process discussed in section 2.1. Example, find the least common denominator for the fractions 5/12, 4/15, and 3/8. So first we take 12 and we divide it up into its prime factorization. That's 2 times 2 times 3, or 2 squared times 3. We take 15 and do the same and get 3 times 5. And we take 8 and do the same and get 2 cubed. So the least common denominator has to have the same number of 2's as 8, the same numbers of 3's as 15 or 12, and the same number of 5's as 15. So that's 2 cubed times 3 times 5, which is 8 times 3 times 5, which is 120. To compare fractions, we first find the least common denominator, then change each fraction to an equivalent fraction with the LCD as its denominator. We compare the numerators. The larger numerator indicates the larger fraction. So as an example, we will order 5/12, 4/15, and 3/8 from least to greatest. We have already found that the least common denominator is 120. So we can change each of these numbers into a fraction with, we can change each of these fractions into a fraction with that denominator. 5/12, we multiply the 5 and the 12 by 10 and get 50 120ths. 4/15, we multiply the 4 and the 15 by 8 and get 32 120ths. And for 3/8, we multiply the 3 and the 8 by 15 and get 45 120ths. So the least is 4/15, the middle is 3/8, and the greatest is 5/12. To compare mixed numbers, we compare the whole parts. And if the whole number parts are equal, we compare the fraction parts. So we've got an example here. Is it possible to have a pipe with an outside diameter of 5/8 of an inch and an inside diameter of 21/32 of an inch? So we compare the fractions. 32 is 8 times 4, so we multiply our numerator and denominator by 4 and get 20/32 is less than 21/32. So it's not possible to have the pipe that this is discussing. To compare a fraction and a decimal, we change one number so that both numbers are either in fraction or decimal form. You may use either form, but it is probably easier to change the fraction to a decimal, because then if you wind up with an improper fraction, you won't have to change it into a mixed number. So for example, the specifications of an electric tablet state the length is 15.8 inches and the width is 10 inches. A carrying case is 15 7/8 inches by 10 1/8 inch on the inside. Will the tablet fit into the case? Well, first we can compare 10 1/8 and 10 easily. 10 1/8 is greater than 10, so the width is fine. Then we need to convert 15 7/8 to a decimal so we can compare it to 15.8. 7/8, that's 7 divided by 8, so that's 0.875. We actually saw that one earlier. So 15 7/8 is 15.875, which is greater than 15.8. The tablet will fit in the case.